एक ही स्लाइड ओपन है, इधर ओपन करो, कमेंट कर दो। मैं कैंसिल
Good morning and warm welcome to you all. I am Ms. Bhagyalakshmi Nageli, host for today. We continue with our Sadgun Sang Meet 101 virtual webinar. Our topic for today is Circular Economy MSME towards Sustainable Growth shall be taken by Ms. Smita Venkatesh. She shall be covering the present linear economic model, waste hierarchy, triple planetary crisis, what is circular economy, RRR, business model, case study of automotive sector for question and answer session. Let's quickly go towards the agenda. Virtual inauguration by Dr. Sundar Kataria, invoking the blessing of deity, chanting Gayatri Mantra, introduction of speaker, presentation by Ms. Smita Venkatesh, question and answer session, and then closing meeting. Brief introduction of Dr. Sundar Kataria. Sadgun Sang conceived and led by Dr. Sundar Kataria, driven with the mission to elevate the quality, safety, and environmental awareness level of industry. Sadgun Sang is a series of educative, informative events aiming to illuminate professionals on possible solution to current issues of industry and economy. His designation and organization is Chairman Managing Director of International Certification Services Private Limited. His academic qualifications are Mechanical Engineer, AMIE, Honorary Doctorate, Business Management. His experience are nuclear RAPP. He started his career in building India's first nuclear power plant at Rawat Bata Kota, Rajasthan. Oil and gas, EIL. He contributed in developing India's first oil and gas field at Bombay High since its inception. DNV. He was the head of industry and offshore development with DNV for 2 decades. ICS. He is the founder of India's first conformity assessment and inspection body known as International Certification Services Private Limited, which is a provider of total quality solution under single umbrella with wide spectrum of services. His awards and achievements are Lifetime Achievement Award of NES Corcon, received several national and international awards. I request Dr. Sundar Kataria to virtually inaugurate this session. Shubham Kurutvam Kalyanam Arogyam Dhanasampadah Shatru Buddhi Vinashaya Deepajyotir Namostute Deepajyotir Namostute Shubham Kurutvam Kalyanam Arogyam Dhanasampadah Shubham Kurutvam Kalyanam Arogyam Dhanasampadah. Please join us for the recitation of Gayatri Mantra. A brief introduction of keynote speaker, Ms. Smita Venkatesh. Her designation and organization is Management Consultant, Auditor, and Trainer. Her academic qualifications are BE Electronics, PG course in Cyber Law. Area of specialization and experience are lead auditor for ISO 45001 2018, ISO 14001 2017, BS Hushas 18001 2007, Post consultant and IC external member, life member at Quality Circle Forum of India QCFI, resource person and trustee at Institute for Media Studies and Research, IMSR, Bangalore. Please welcome Smita ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhagalakshmi. Thank you, ICS. Once again, it's a pleasure to be here on Saturday morning and sharing whatever I know and whatever I have learned these days. So, yes, the topic is that is circular economy, a nascent topic in our country, but a very critical and also a very fastly being adopted, because we are running out of time, right? And we all know that the world is congregating on the climate convention in Egypt from tomorrow. So that being the rather the pretext for this discussion, I would like you all to invite you on this discussion. As I said, this is a very nascent topic and also a very, what you say, a topic which needs a lot of proactiveness from each of the citizens of this globe. And I would welcome, if anybody wants to also add points as I go on sharing my thoughts on this. So I go back to the agenda or the pretext laying down for this discussion. That is the COP27 meet, which is happening tomorrow. So COP is happening in Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt, which starts tomorrow. And this is the 27th meeting. And here the nations are discussing about the goals which was set down in Glasgow. This is an annual meet. So the last year we saw that in Glasgow, they set down certain goals, but this time they are going to see how much is being achieved and how fast they have to do that. And when we have to think about it, it is only the three topics which are the underlying factors and which needs outright, action from all of us. One is containing the temperature, bringing it down to that is not exceeding 1.5 degrees. But now, as we have already exceeded the 1.5 degrees, so they have pushed it down to 2 degrees. That means please do not go beyond that, right? We will also see why a degree of 1.5 raise is so important, right? And then we also know that the emissions have to be cut down, and it is by 1/3. That's really a big margin for all of us. And for all this, we need a lot of money. And currently, the money is less than 10%. The 10% of, that is what is every country is contributing. That is on an average. So these are the three agendas. And let's see what is it that we can do in terms of helping out the planet, in turn, helping ourselves to increase the life of the planet, right? So I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it a complete full screen, is it?
No, ma'am, it's not a full screen.
It's not full screen, yeah. Okay. How about now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, as the topic is for the MSME, we need to understand that MSME forms one of the biggest employer and also the biggest chunk of economy for our country or for any country as such, but ours is a very big country and majority of the economy is run by the MSMEs, right? So now the whole sector is a very volatile sector, and we also know that when we come to expectations, we cannot expect too much from this sector because their capabilities are limited, right? So how do we help them out so that they can be of a better, they can have a better impact? Because if we cannot rope in the MSMEs in this particular aspect, we will not be achieving anything in terms of sustainability, right? So one of the idea considerations for the MSMEs would be, that is the complete way they would be looking at the business would be based on these questions. No more will be the old questions or the old thought of marketing or running a business will help anymore, because all the policies will be driven on this. So these are the questions which every MSME will have to ask themselves before they start. Who I am selling to? Right? You are selling something. Of course, it's a business. So business goes with selling. And if there is no selling, there is no profit, then there is no business as such, right? So the first question you all will have to ask ourselves is who I am selling to? Who is my target audience? And then the second question is what I am selling. What is it I'm selling? How good it is, or rather, good is not the right word. I would say what is it that I'm selling? Is it right for the scenario situation, right? Or the globe, or the client itself? And very important for us to think that, okay, I have started selling something, I have started doing something, but will I be proud of it? Proud of the same idea, same product, same business in the next 10 years, right? So these are the underlying questions which will be driving the idea or the idea consideration for the business that is starting today, right? So even if there are MSMEs which have already been, or the business has already been set, then it is time to rethink, reconsider, and ask these questions, and then formulate our business or restructure our business on these founding answers for these questions, right? So what is the current economy? The current economy, what we are talking about is very simple. It is a linear economy. There is no confusions. There is no, the shortcuts or, diagonal cut routes here. It's very, very simple. We have we take the raw material, we make the product, we use it. That is, we sell it to the user and they start using it. And after the using period, we are disposing it, right? And the result can be seen in the picture. This is our use and throw economy, where we are oblivious to the first step of taking itself. That means we have never been thoughtful about what we are taking, how much we are taking, and we are not even thinking about the next generation, which is waiting for their chance to take over, right? We are using up the whole resources in the simple way of today is mine. I don't know about tomorrow, right? This is the linear economy, what we currently have predominantly. But in the recent times, that is a decade or so, we have seen that there has been another kind of economy which has been introduced into our business models. And this again is a very, very small chunk. It is a very small chunk which follow this route. That is, we have the usual take, make, use, and dispose. And there is a small consideration due to the great activism which has been happening towards environmental protectiveness. So which has brought in the aspect of recycling. That is, when I am making it, I generate a lot of scrap or waste. So how do I, try to reuse it, right? That recycling. And also here comes the metal reuse, which can again go back to be reused as a recycled metal, or it can be water, which can be recycled again to be used. And then after use also, when you are throwing away the product, so how much can I recycle out of it? How much can I take back? That is, dismantle it and take back those things which can be again recycled and introduced into the economy, right? Into the business model. So this has been the two types of economy, what we have been following as of now, right? Now, why so? Because we need to understand that this economy has been generating a lot of waste. The waste, which is really a big concern, right? Because one is that this planet maybe not be enough to hoard this waste if we do not know how to use it, how to reuse it. And the only method I think the man will think of is, as we see that he will say that, okay, I'll find a planet out in the universe, another planet, which will become my dustbin, right? I will start sending out the waste there. Just imagine when we go, and we all have seen in our practices, we day in, day out see the industries and especially the MSMEs, how much of the waste actually goes to the proper recycling or disposal. How much? Have you ever seen, have you ever gone back and compiled those numbers, the charts which are shown to us by the industries? Have you ever seen it seriously? Ethically, how much of it gets disposed or recycled or reused? The percentage is in single digit. This is not the case of our country, please. This is the whole global problem, issue of the globe, right? So here we need to understand how the waste hierarchy works. We all know that the waste hierarchy starts with the prevention, right? And then we have the reuse. We can remanufacture it. That is, we can put in some parts. If it is stopped working, it is of no more use to us, then we try to put in some spare parts and try to make use of it, right? Then recycle it, completely take it back, bring it back to its original state of the metal or the material, and again introduce it as a raw material for fresh production. And then we have the recovery part, where we dismantle the whole thing, we break down the complete product and pick out the components and try to introduce recycling into it or reusing into it. And then comes after that, a big chunk is left, which is of no use to us, or rather it is the process of these preceding methods are very expensive. So what we do is that we will dispose it all. Now, how do we dispose is a big question mark. For disposal, we have a big, regulations in place. We all know that. But how much of it is being utilized? Because remember, when we talk about disposal, it means it costs you money. The company will have to shell out from its pocket because it is responsible disposal, right? So if we really want to see again as to the prevention part, that is streamlining from the start. That is, I'm going to use, that means I'm going to introduce in the design concept itself. I will be a minimalist in my design. And I will in the first place, the first question is that, is this product good for us? It takes us back to the small thinking, thought process Mahatma Gandhi asked all of us. If this product is of any use to us, isolate yourself from the profit making aspect, because now it is not the question of profit making, it's rather there is an added tag to it. That is it really required? That is it really useful? That means that product should be towards problem solving. Will it make life easier for the mankind and help the poorest of the poor, right? So that is when the first question is asked, prevention. And then if you get a satisfying answer, then just go ahead. But introduce the concept of minimalism, that is use of minimal resources in making that product, right, into the design concept. Then we have the reuse and the repair part. That is also comes in the design aspect. That is understanding as to, introducing the fact that even when afterlife of the product, how much can be reused, or how long I can prolong its life by repairing it, or by replacing the critical spare parts, right? That means it should come with a good maintenance principle. Then comes the remanufacturing part. That is, you can, when you dismantle it or disassembly the whole thing, recovering and repairing the parts which can be, replaced at again, and you can again sell it as very similar to the second-hand cars, vehicles, or second-hand material. Then we have the recycle kind of a scenario where we are downgrading the process. That is typically a downgrading, right? That is downcycling. That means breaking down the parts and taking out the parts which can be recycled, or reusing some of them, right? But remember that whenever we are talking about recycling, it is not as good as the virgin material. That is why in many cases, there is outright in the requirement specification by the customer, we see that they would have specified that you cannot use recycled. It has to be the virgin metal or the virgin material in terms of plastics and others. Virgin material, that is a fresh material, has to be used as raw material, right? Because it becomes a little inferior. Then comes a recovery part. That is recovery of energy or fuel from a resource, right? That is, it takes us to the field of biodiesels, right? Or when you're incinerating something, burning something, the heat generated is used as an energy in another process, right? So this can be a recovery part where the energy is recovered from the process while you are disposing or while you are getting rid of the waste. Then comes the disposal of the waste itself. So predominantly, we have a very ethical method of something which cannot be broken down or which is not, can be, is not organic, harmful. Then we neutralize it and we send it to the landfill, right? But getting in the landfill is a huge, big process, which requires a lot of neutrality processes. And this requires a lot of money, right? We need to have a big pocket for that. And here comes the other aspect, which has been widely been used by every one of us. That is, when nobody is looking around, just throw it away. You find any no man's land, then throw it there. And when everybody is sleeping, burn it away, right? This is the kind of the widespread disposal methods we all are seeing. We do it knowingly or unknowingly. We don't know. We are doing it. That's all. We are just cleaning our house. And in the process, we are not understanding that it is going to hurt our house too in the process. Anyway, when we go to the waste statistics, because that is what we base all our complete statistics on, we have something called this is a statistics what I'm showing to you for India, but this holds good for the world also. I'm talking about the municipal solid waste. Okay, that is the individual waste what we are creating. That is more important to us, because this is the waste which is just getting into the landfill because the people who are involved in segregating it, they are finding it impossible, because we do not believe, as citizens, we do not believe in segregation. Just ask this question to yourself. How many of you in your own house are bothered about checking if your dustbin is segregated? Many of us do it. We go to the industries. It is part of the audit. We take out the checklist. There is a question there. So we go and ask them, hey, show me all your bins, colorful, different colored bins. But how many of us have such bins at our own house? How many? Right? So this is a basic question what we have to ask, because if any one of you, wherever you're sitting in this country, if you visit the landfill, the municipal landfill, I think it is just going to change a lot of things. about the way we are looking at life, our own life, and how we are treating it, it's going to change our thinking pattern. So this is it. That means we have something called total generation and total collected. And what is dumped? Dumped is without segregation. Please remember, it is without segregation, right? Treated part is so less. It is less than 10%. 10% of the waste is treated. That means ethically, that means it is safe. Whereas when the dumping happens, if you see that even the leachate which comes out of it seeps inside the groundwater and it is contaminating it and we are consuming it. It is coming back to us. So we come to the e-waste statistics because we are in industry 4.0 and there is a lot of automation going on out here and there is a lot of gadget. This is the world of gadgets for us, right? Era of gadgets. This is the statistics what we have for 1920. And it says India generates about this much of tons of e-waste. And it is categorized into 21 types of electrical and electronic equipment. Okay. This is what 10 lakh odd tons of e-waste is generated. And what happens here? How much of it is recycled is just the 27.7%. This is statistics we have, because we have to remember that when it comes to the waste market, we have quite a large, disorganized share of the economy is here, right? This is just the 22.7% which has been recognized and which is organized, approved e-waste disposers, right? Now we have globally, if you take, we have 53.6 million tons of e-waste is generated globally, and in which only 17.4% is recycled. Okay, that means it is refurbished or the precious metals are taken back and reused. So this is what is the statistics for e-waste. So the waste there, the waste here in the e-waste combinedly is causing the triple planetary crisis where the great debates are happening. That is a climate change. We already know. I don't know. I think all of us have experienced it. We especially, me especially in Bangalore, sitting in Bangalore, I'm seeing that I don't know when the monsoon started. That is the rain started. It is never ending. It is raining every day out here. It is not giving us a respite at all. Okay. I don't know when it's going to end. I know we need rains, but not rains like this because it is going to hit the food production. Then comes the nature and the biodiversity loss. We have already lost a lot of things. And this is going to come up again because we are not stopping at the march we have started towards economic development. So the urban development, what is happening, industrialization, what is happening, the industry 4.0, what it demands. We want to be the economic leaders in this world. We have all the potential, but in the process, we have very little time to just stop and think if this is right, right? So when we talked about the 3 questions we are asking about, these 3 questions not only belong to the businesses, it belongs to the one big business every country has, that is the government. Government is a big business unit. They are the ones who have to ask. So the single window, what kind of approvals, what is being given to many of the projects, especially in the terms of environmental impact analysis, has to be thought over, right? Then we have pollution and waste. Of course, we have seen it. How serious is this? We go back to those 3 aspects what the COP is trying to decide. The 1.5 degrees Celsius. Why should it make a big difference? Okay, 1.5 degree cannot make a difference because in Bangalore, we have seen that even in the summers, the temperature would not go beyond 2022. We did not know what a fan was. A ceiling fan came very much later. And I think it started with a table fan. So if I remember my own childhood, that is 30, 35 years back, I don't remember having a fan at all at home. Whereas currently we are all into ACs. Many of the individual households have bought in ACs for summer, right? That means we are touching 40 degrees Celsius. We had a jump of 20 degrees Celsius in these 35 years. Can you imagine that? Then what great difference one more degree of rise in temperature going to make will be the question we ask, correct? Why should you make so much of a halla gulla about this? So I go back to understand this temperature difference. Ken, you can just put it on the chat box. Let us see. You know the ice age, right? What was the average temperature of the planet, that is Earth, in the ice age? It is just a guess. All of you might have seen Ice Age, that the animation movie, right? The whole the planet was covered with ice. Remember, ice is different from snow. It was covered with ice. Any guess what was the average temperature of the planet then? You can put it on the chat box, or you can even unmute yourself and tell it. At least one or two of you. Just a wild guess. Anyone? This is also to know if everybody are there. Or I'm doing an extempore speech here. Anybody? Any guess? Okay, let's see. 5 degrees, minus 18 degrees. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Just a wild
8
guess.
degrees centigrade.
Pardon?
8 degrees centigrade.
8 degrees centigrade, 10 degrees centigrade. Oh, wonderful. That means if you take more time to respond, that means you're Googling, okay? Okay. So it was not minus. It was close to 15 degrees Celsius, plus 15 degrees Celsius. Yes. So that means in the ice age, the average temperature was 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, now comes back this particular 1.5 degree, what they are asking for is in terms of the pre-industrial time, right? Pre-industrial time. And the cutoff year, what is being taken as is 1850, right? Year 1850. So we need to go back to the temperature of that time. That is what is the ask of the hour. Our average temperature, global average temperature should not go beyond that, because that is the best temperature for life on Earth. Okay, best temperature for the life on Earth. If you go any one tiny bit beyond it, that means you are threatening the life of life itself. So we have to remember that we are here as humans here only because of the great nature out there. So the more of the nature we are losing, the more of life we are cutting off for ourselves. That means our time on this planet is limited. That is it. And if you want to understand it even more easily, that how this temperature raise is going to increase, it is simple like this. You buy an ice cream, right? And enjoy it now in the open. Those days will be gone. You will have to buy the ice cream, which will be sold inside a freezer. You'll have to sit inside the freezer room to enjoy the ice cream. I don't know if that is called enjoyment. Okay. So this is the crisis we are talking about. And this is a crisis the young lot led by Greta Thunberg is fighting for. Okay. So all of it should be to hunt all the waste we have already dumped on this planet and eliminate that waste. Okay. So this is what leads us to circular economy. That means we have the take, make, and when we are making, we have to introduce the concept of recycling. And then we also have to create returning. That means as a producer, extended producer responsibility, I am going to take care of recycling also, and I am going to take care of the returns also. That means the customer is going to return back to you. Now, this is not the choice given to the customer. This is the choice you have to make as a responsibility. That means it will be given on a strict basis that after you use it, I am going to collect it back. Okay, this is the thought process, what the making will have to take care of, right? Returning, that means you will have to have a process for return, accepting the return also. And then we will have the use process, right? And when we are using it, we will have to think about the extended use. As of now, we always define the lifespan of a product, right? So when it comes to that, now you will have to think of that it is a life product. Okay, not a limited. So it is a life product. That means until the user is using it and also passes it on to the next generation, it should be usable. Okay, so that will be the concept. That means the repair economy will be kicked in. It will be a new kind of a business model, what we will see. So as of now, we have the linear economy out here, and then we have the chain recycling economy. But here we are not stopping the raw material usage, right? And here we are talking about something called downcycling when it comes to recycling. Now the circular economy will be talking about upcycling. There is no question of exploitation of any virgin material for manufacturing at all. Okay. So there will be, I think, the mines will have to become thoughtful now. No more mining. Okay. That means it's like we'll have to put it on hold for a while, right? So this is it. Now comes the circular economy. If you want to understand it, as of now, we are using a waste management economy, but circular economy will be talking about zero waste economy, right? So now if you go back to our audit practices, then we will have to bring in this aspect and see to it that when you are checking out the waste statistics of the organization, we will have to ask them, what is your goal? That is, one of their objectives will have to be waste. How are they bringing in waste? Just like in quality, how they are mentioning about the customer satisfaction or zero complaints, right? Bringing down, having total customer satisfaction and making customer complaint zero. We will have to ask for zero waste objective. And what are the steps they have taken or they are planning to take towards that journey, right? So the concept now will be much more beyond the 3 R's of reduce, reuse, and recycle, right? It will now get into the business models will have something called the repair economy, a recycle economy, and the refurbishment economy. So it will go beyond the 3 R's. The refurbishment is what holds long promises out here as a business model. So this will be the outlook of the many business practices. Now the global trend as such is, if we why that we have to, means what is there in it? When we say what is there in it, naturally it comes down to the financial part of it. That is what is a benefit part of it. So in the recent study by Alan MacArthur Foundation, the circular economy in India itself can benefit about 40 lakh crores by 2050. 2050 is going to be 2025 is a very, very important year for us. And then the next important year happens to be 2050. So by 2050, means the whole economy will be circular in nature. And in that process, we will stand to have 40 lakh crore benefit out of it, out of that particular market. And in return, we will be achieving 44% reduction in emissions. Okay. So this is the benefit part of it. And the repair economy will boom to $20 million. Repair economy itself. Now making will stop, repairing will start, right? Right to repair movement globally has already started. Why is this so? Repair economy is already well in place in our country, in India. right? I have a very fantastic example here, personal example. This was when I had a very short period where I was staying in Germany, where I had an iPod, okay, and this iPod suddenly went kaput. It was under repair. So what happened here was, when I went to the iStore there, they said that no, we cannot open it. You know, the iPhones cannot be opened up. You just have to buy a new one. That's all. If something happens, so they said that no, you will have to now buy a new one. Then okay, Bhavesh, what is this? Why do you need a request on remote control of my screen? I'm sorry, I'm getting a message out here. Who is this, Bhavesh?
Let me check, ma'am, actually.
Yeah, please do. Then here they said that, you cannot repair it, you have to buy new. I said, oh my God, buying an Apple product is expensive, of course, and I'm an Indian. So I said, okay, I'm going on a holiday. So on my annual vacation, somebody told me, you're going to India anyway on holiday, you just try it out there. I just came back. I went to the nearest mobile repair shop, and within half a day, my iPod was back to action. Okay. So this is the repair economy we have. We have a robust repair economy, which is already in place. Right to repair movement is globally running very, very, what you say, in a big way. And New York, the state of New York has come out with this Digital Fair Repair Act. Okay, because they are Apple people. They all use Apple. So this is a new act which has come into place in New York. And the European Parliament also has brought in a regulation where it is allowing the products, a certain segment of products, electronics products, to be repaired for up to 10 years. Okay, so this is the world it is going, and we have a big market out here, and we can exploit this, because for a country which doesn't have a repair economy, setting it up is very difficult. So here we can see, apart from our great IT professionals, I think we can also tap this market of repair economy elsewhere in the developed world, right? And this will be the model, different business ideas the circular economy is going to drive. Because when we talk about circular economy, we immediately get into this, it is like a threat to us. Oh no, now it is going to be very tight. That means, is it going to cut on the business opportunities, right? No, it is only going to, we saw the statistics, it is only going to open up new varieties of businesses out here, as we saw. Now the designs will have to be on a eco-conception basis. The ideas will have to have a green conception. That means minimal use of raw materials and minimal or zero waste output. Whatever is generated in the process will have to be reused elsewhere. Then that leads us to the eco-design. And then we have a product service system will be there. That means you're not only making a product, you're going to provide an extended life to it. So you will also be having a department or a process now, which again will be revenue generated, called the service, right? Already we have in many places, but not everywhere. And then we will have an extended warranty. That's what I was talking about. That means now it will be a life product, right? You will have to design and make the products robust to be long life. And then we will have the industrial ecology as such. And what is industrial ecology? Now, industrial ecology is an R&D, is a study of materials and the energies, what is being used, where, all of them will be reutilized. So you will be putting, that means there'll be stress, there will be less stress on exploitation of new material, and there will be more usage of the materials and the waste and the energy which is generated in the processes of making. So the study and the R&D will have to happen there. And then we have the territorial symbiosis kind of setups, where we have this we have I think in Denmark, we have a very example here. In Denmark, we have Kullenborg, I think, Symbiosis Center, Industrial Symbiosis Center is there, which is one first of its kind, where all the industry outputs are used well within the whole community itself. There, they have made a hub, industrial hub out there. The simplest example is that here the grease oil which comes out or the cooking oil which comes out is being used as a biofuel, okay, biodiesel biofuel to fuel the vehicles. And then they also have this heat which is generated is being supplied to the nearby towns for heating the houses, because it is a cold country. So they use that heat, the waste heat which is being generated in the industry. So we can also see, here the cement factory using the fly ash, which comes from the coal power generated thermal power plant. This again, coal thermal power plant and the byproducts of the coal thermal power plant used, as an input or the raw material by other industry, well within the vicinity. So that, the transportation, the energy used for transportation is cut down. That means they are well within, we have that. Most of the PSUs have this, right? They have their accessory units around them to cut down on this particular aspect of energy conservation. Then we have the distribution part. This was a production part. Then we have the distribution part where we are doing a one-to-one return. That means I'm going to give you the product. Now, when you're returning it, I want the complete package back. The complete, it comes with let us say a mobile phone comes with a battery, the adapter, everything. You will return it back to me in one piece, one-to-one return kind of a thing. That also can become, because there you can implement the reuse concept, right? And then we have the deposit system. That is, after your use, it is still being used. You can just deposit there, or you can hire it or lease it. That also is there. In battery, we are seeing it. It is hiring or leasing, what kind of a model they are being using. Then comes the consumption part, where we have these recycle, repair, reuse, cafes can come up, right? And the recycle parks, of course, right? It can already it is being done, right? None of the what do you say, not usable parts are used. They come up as an art piece or a creative, recycled parts, right? And then the sharing economy, of course, where, one particular asset can be shared by many, right? So you can have an incinerator unit for a community, and everybody within the community uses that incineration unit. But remember, in the circular economy, we do not have incinerators. It is just an example. Okay. Then the principles of conservation of material, reduction of toxics, and equitable distribution and access to resources. This is what we are going to achieve through circular economy. This is what it is. As of now, we have a great inequality when it comes to resource distribution, right? We have giant countries, manufacturing countries, which are exploiting the resources from elsewhere because they do not have the skill and the knowledge to extract these machines, or even the economic background. So these countries, in the name of helping them, are rather exploiting the resources from these continents, right? China exploiting from the African continent is a well-known thing. So this kind of an exploitation, that means you're already sitting on the resources. You yourself house great many resources, but you're not using it. You're rather eyeing somebody else's resource and you are draining their resources. So this kind of inequitable distribution can come to an end in the territorial symbiosis kind of a industrial setup. Here, I would just give you a certain already the innovative startups which has come up and in the automotive sector, because this is a fast growing sector and it is a most attractive sector, right? So let us see, because here again, raw material is a very, very big thing in the automotive sector. We see that a raw material is directly from the mines. There is no question of recycled material out here. So we have a company called Cobalt Metals. You can Google it later. This is a US-based company, which is completely into energy efficient and ethical extraction of raw materials. And they are targeting the EV vehicle manufacturing industry. Okay, because that is what is the current trend now. And they are also targeting the renewable energy companies who are, like they are trying to find out here how much of metal you can use. It is a completely an R&D based company which works on data collection, compilation, and they are trying to find out if somebody is doing unethical extraction. That means for your production you need this much of material, and this can be a recycled material. It need not be a virgin metal. Then if they keep a tab on that extraction, and immediately the numbers tell them that somewhere something is going wrong. This is a very wonderful concept they have come up with, where they are driving ethical extraction of raw materials, very much in need for our country. You know that. Okay, then we have this ICS. It's a proud moment for ITS to be part of this Staria Mobility, because they have certified Staria Mobility, where they are reusing the components. That is, they are making retrofit two-wheeler engines from fuel to the EV engines. So this is which is based in Bangalore. So this is an Indian company. Then in the raw material, we have something where the supply chain tracking technology comes into being. This is now completely a data-based AI kind of a company, which is creating more kind of a transparency among the supply chain itself, right? Because as a main manufacturer, I need to have now control over all my downstream vendors, right? So it can be waste, or it can be raw material, or it can be the outsourced product. So I have a complete bird's view about what's happening in my supply chain. So here we have a circular that is a UK-based company, which is creating a digital ledger for the miners as well as the consumers. It is going to be a digital ledger they are making up. So I am going to now know that how much ever is coming from the mines, how much is going to the end user, that is a manufacturer. So this is going to become the next thing, where anybody anywhere is using the fresh metals from the extraction, this thing, they will start using this digital ledger. And then we have the sustainable materials being used. We have this in the automotive sector, where we have the roll stock production. So people working in the automotive sector, you might be familiar with this terminology. This is the low tolerance, what they have for other materials, sustainable materials itself. That is where the more of the virgin material is being exploited. So this has been very widely been used in Range Rover's materiality strategy. This has been already in place, I think, since 2015 or something, and they have been using it, and it has been a success here, where they are using, they are having a control over these kind of materials, and they have also been able to push lot of startups and R&D into sustainable material research. So we have here we have a lot of companies, especially which are using very unconventional kind of inputs to make leather. That is the interior of the automotive industry. So we have like where they are using the pineapple. Anam is one of the companies which is using the pineapple pulp waste to make leather. And then also sustainable leather from many other companies. Milo is one of them, right? And then we have VM Leather is a very famous leather company which supplies the automotive industry. And when it comes to the sustainable materials, we are talking about the recycled metal, and Sintacom India is one of the pioneer here, where we know that sintering process is being used. Instead of using the virgin metal, they are using recycled metal And here what happens is in the casting and forging process, we all know that a lot of water is being used, right? And also it is high energy consumption. And there is a lot of carbon emission also here, huge carbon emission. So here in the sintering process, they are using, electric furnaces, and they are using they powder the metal scrap, and they are using it for forging and casting. And this is a pioneering industry. You can also Google about them. And here in the automotive industry, they have been supplying to major automotive industries, sintering. They have been supplying and they have been successful. No rejections out there. And then comes recovering valuable material from waste products, that is breaking down. So when it comes to breaking down, especially glass, waste plastic, glass is one of them. And one of the very interesting fact about glass is that it can be brought down to its virgin form. Okay, its element form. So which again can be freshly used. That means there is no downgraded or inferiority in its nature, in its composition and characteristics. So here comes a very young, inventor, that is from Delhi, glass to sand. This young fellow at the age of 16, he in the COVID times, he came up with a technology where you could break the glass completely into its silica form. And it was funded by the Australian and the New Zealand government. And it is very successful. Okay, so this was one. And then we have Jaguar Land Rover, reality model, where they have been very successful in attaining zero waste, especially recycled aluminium. They have introduced the innovative technology here where they are completely reusing aluminium, and they are not sourcing it out from the mines. And then we have Chem Cycling, another German firm, which is well-known BASF firm, which has been successful in bringing out some upcycle processes for plastic waste, which is again can be for domestic plastic waste also. And whatever they have been able to recycle is of high quality material, which can be used, sourced out by the automotive industry. Then we have Black Bear, a Dutch company, which converts the tire, completely into carbon black. So because a tire, that is the tire of the vehicle, is one of the major waste, and we don't know how to dispose it. And in India, we see that mainly to take out whatever is the extraction, they do, open air burning of the tires happen, which is very hazardous. So they have come up with the technology. And we see many, many examples like this, where we have a Israeli company coming out with the printing technology also. So many things are being in the process. I have just taken up few of them which have really made an impact and which has been used and which has been successful. So the main aspect here is to drive the predictive maintenance aspect, right? That means when we are talking about extending the life of the product, now it is not preventive maintenance. We are not going to wait for the breakdown to happen. We have to change it to predictive maintenance. And that is going to be a big, sector out here. And it is being used in the battery management of the EVs. And we have, I think there is Noida-based IoT startup is there, which takes stock of the fleet battery management. This is for the logistics part, Emuron. Okay. And we also have CarFit and a Pit Stop in USA, which are totally into vehicle predictive maintenance aspect, where they are going to put in a lot of sensors. AI is going to kick in, machine learning is going to come up out there, and they are going to use the IoT for keeping a tab on the performance of the vehicle and on a day-to-day basis. So this is some of the examples where already very, on a very proactive basis, the companies have been using data. So, when ISO talks about data, collecting data, measuring the footprints. This is what it is used for in the future, right? All the data what the industry is generating will be valued for. As we always say, when a company is up for sale, it is not for the equipment or the men and the machines. It is for the data it is collected down its journey in its lifetime. So which is going to drive the future industries, because that is where the design also, sustainable designing, it is going to feed the sustainable designs, right? So these are some of the startups which are using, the AIs and the machine learning in battery. Management, which is a big thing in the EV. Everybody is driving the EV, but nobody knows how to handle the battery, not only the manufacturing part and also the disposal part, right? So this is what will be useful for us. How do we achieve this? We as a practitioners of the standards and the implementers will be looking for this. Life cycle perspective becomes more stronger. Waste reduction objectives will be studied and will be pushed on, and product and packaging reutilization will be there. Zero. There are many companies which are driving it. And we work with one of the companies which has achieved complete zero waste. Okay, it has achieved complete zero waste when it comes to the company itself. Okay, it's a printing company, and a redesign will be there. This will be, and composting and biogas, energy from all these byproducts and the waste. And then EPR is going to become more strengthened. That is extended producer responsibility. As a producer, you will not be only limited to making it and selling it, but you will be held responsible to understand the carbon footprints and the handprints. When it comes to footprints, it is about the user and the company itself. When it comes to handprints, we understand it as we will be now taking stock of the supplier chain carbon emission also. That is called carbon handprints. And then we have consumption habit transformation will be there. Now the people will not be like, I'm going to buy new things, we have many of these festivals, Indian festivals, which have been converted into buying new things, right? Many of these Dashera, or Diwali, there is a lot of things which happen where new things have to be bought. No, we'll have to find a new way of understanding it. And now consumption have to be transformed, right? Then comes commuting empowerment, community empowerment, bringing in the community here to handle the waste, right? Collection of waste, segregation of waste, that can become a great community empowering, and recycling also can be introduced within the community as a business, So these are some of the aspects. So you can start asking me questions. We are quite at the end of the whole session. So you can ask me questions, you can unmute yourself, or, Bhagilakshmi can ask the questions which is on the chat box, whichever is convenient.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are some of the, what we will have, where the businesses will be looking for, business ideas, conceptions. Businesses can play their part in this particular circular, openings. And in return, we would be talking on a lot of things which will be towards the goodness, wellness of the planet. And when we come to the standards, yes, let us take a peek into the standards which will be talking and supporting the circular economy. 9001 already talks about sustainability. So we will have to now, when we go to our audit, we need to do a bit more on that sustainability, right? Which we do not do. I know that. And 14001, yes, the waste reduction part we will have to get into. And then 14044, we also know all this will support. These are the current standards, ISO standards. And then we have 50,001, which is energy conservation. management. And then we have one of the British standards 8001, which is outrightly talking about circular economy, supporting it in a full way, right? And this is the Japanese standards we have. And then we have the measurement, because all the circular economy is going to do is data driven, right? So we have the measurement standards here, ISO 20140 and ASTM. So this will be the standards which will be measuring all that are predictive maintenance, what we talked about, right? Material measurements will happen here, raw material, whenever the material inspection happens, process validation happens. These are the standards which will kick into place and will be supporting it. And on a policy basis, the countries will be pushing towards the goals through the goals set out by the Sustainable Development UN goals and the greenhouse emission reduction, whatever is the signatories, as signatories, we are going to pledge ourselves for. So these are some of the supporting standards which will be focusing on the circular economy. And yes, if you're interested to understand, there are some very fantastic books. Of course, every one of us know Down to Earth by Center for Science and Ecology. Sunita Narayan, everybody may know about her, a very fantastic magazine, which gives us on a day-to-day basis what's happening to nature. And then we have this very fine book written by Ramachandra Guha, How Much a Person Should Consume. This talks about the environmental history of the world itself, and it covers India extensively. It's a very beautiful book. And these were some of the credits I would give preparing this particular PPT. This helped me with all the information. Thank you. Yes, this is towards the one and the only planet we have. We do not have any other planet. This is the only home, and we need to protect it for our future generations. Thank you. Now I'm all ready to, discuss with you, rather, not answer, rather discuss with you. Yes, sir. Ramnath Verma. Yes, sir. Yes, you have mentioned it. Yes, very much. There are regulations out here for carbon neutrality and circular economy. As we all know that, there are many sustainable industries, who are doing the carbon footprint measurement, carbon credits, and understanding the credit market and trying to, do the valuation. But all of them are for the outside world, not India. So India has to wake up, and each one of us will have to start measuring first our carbon footprints. It starts with the energy audits. We need to do a thorough energy audit, all of us. So here, I think the time has, this can also push policies where these energy audits can become a subsidized ones, right? Because the governments will have to now push it, and so that it becomes affordable for MSMEs, because MSMEs, we know, are small players. We cannot expect a lot of things. Already their profit margins are very small. So to encourage them, and as they are the biggest market out here, to encourage them, then we will have to bring in a lot of subsidy out there in this market. That is what is my observation. Yes, sir. Yes, anybody. You can unmute and talk. That would be nice, because only I was talking. I would like to hear somebody else also talking.
Yeah.
Sir, namaste, sir. Sundar, sir.
Namaste, namaste.
Yes, sir.
I have one or two basic questions
Yes.
which our country.
Sir, we cannot hear you.
Sides are very committed. But when it
Sir,
comes to the subcontractor,
Yes.
and they don't have teeth, or they don't have any contract signed with them, that those people also have to follow. Can you put light on this one? Plus,
Yes.
is the any regulation which are there, you give me that one word, that malpractices. Malpractice and shortcuts. Is there is any clauses or any means guidelines which are being bought by international market, international
Yes.
means regulatory guidelines?
Yes, sir. So here, what as a practitioner, what I have observed is that the industries, these suppliers who are supplying to the MNCs, right? Where the parent companies come from the European Union or the American, these developed countries, they have a very stringent third-party audit, which is happening. And also they are one of the drivers who are bringing this malpractice, because here, the regulatory agencies are not able to, what you say, play around, right? They are what happens here is that they are ready to shell out the money because it is mandatory. We know that 26,000 ISO 26,000 guidelines is mandatory in the EU, European Union and America. And here the social responsibility is taken very, very strongly. And here what they are doing is that they are telling them that don't worry, you give us how many ever questions you pose at us, we are ready to implement it. But we want a clearance from you. That means we are going to satisfy the regulations to the, to the end. That is, I have seen it, sir. I have seen it with the MNCs, the suppliers who are working for MNCs. Here, the support of the parent customer is there, or demand is there from them. But when it comes to the it is very, very poor, and it is very bad also. Here we cannot, yes.
Yeah.
And I think what we can do is, sir, we know that as ISO certification bodies, we do not have much powers as such, right? But I feel that we can use the data in a proactive way. And maybe as you are doing this Sadgun Sangh itself is one of the awareness building platform, which can, where, we can involve more of the vendors, and we can just tell them that this is what is happening, right? It is just like the cigarette packet having all those, all the scary pictures on it. At least there will be some kind of an initiative within from them. I think that way we can drive it. And in the ISO audits, we need to push it a little and tell them that this is wrong. Is what I say, sir. Sir, I think connection is...
Consumer demand, how can manufacturers or suppliers? That is a bigger question mark.
Yes.
Like if you see the food industries,
Yes.
now it is getting to the age, and
Yes.
requirements from the consumers are quite.
Yes, yes, very much, sir, because the consumer court is getting strengthened. So that, and they are now the means it is very easy for me as a consumer in the food industry to approach the courts, and they are time bound.
And it is get implemented light on consumer,
Yes.
how the consumer has to put, you have to
Yes.
file the life cycle.
Yes.
After
Yes.
life cycle, what are you doing?
Yes.
Now, our shortcut, as I tell you, our people, when we go for audit, they say, yes, battery, we return it to the supplier.
Yes.
Now, what the supplier is doing, we don't know.
Yes. So that is where, I think we have this particular thing that they have to at least carry out all these critical vendors or suppliers. They need to conduct at least one yearly audit on them, and try to find out that the downstream vendors are doing their job.
Yeah, Smita ma'am, good morning, and it was wonderful insights, and it was very presentation. I especially appreciate and thanks for giving one particular thing. ISO 9001 is the standard, which is a sustainability standard, which gives
Yes, everything.
which most of our people doesn't understand. They say this is merely a standard.
Yes.
It is not merely a standard. It is a basics, which you have rightly said, and I appreciate. And hardly few people are accepting this. This is a standard which is building us or any company to grow.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I always
Yeah.
feel that if you implement 9001, you don't need all other standards at all.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And this is a failure of the auditor who is not able to focus on the standard, rather saying the standard is separately and I am doing something.
Yes. Yes.
So one and second, right, Arya sir was saying about this that malpractices. My view in this is malpractices are very well taken by standard by risk assessment. All these risk assessment, in case if it is put into the register properly, things will automatically taken care by the standard.
Yes.
This
Yes.
2015 standard has taken very well all those aspects which are there in the mind of people and during the execution and the implementation of the system.
Yes. Yes, sir. Correct.
So that through, in case the risk assessment is done thoroughly, then definitely there's all these malpractices and the things are very well taken care. So that is how we are taking, and when auditor is seeing the risk assessment, and he must include this point also there.
Yes.
I have well taken of Kataria sir point. So
Yes.
this also to be there in somewhere in the risk assessment. And the third point which Kataria sir was saying about batteries and waste. There is a basic rule of the India that is we have to give our waste to authorized dealers. Once it is authorized, like ICS is authorized to give a certification, so we are bound to follow certain rules and regulations which are backed by the accreditation boards.
Correct.
So ultimately it is covered. So and thanks for giving wonderful presentation and keep going.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I take this opportunity to ask Sundar Kataria, sir, that, means, of course, yes, we are bound by the non-disclosure clause with the clients, but with their, consent, we're not naming them or taking our own precautions, can we come out with certain, articles or publishing, articles which can lead to policy changes? As a certifying body, can we do something here where in leading, journals, we can publish it, and we can means our contribution towards policy changes? Because if these things doesn't happen at the higher end, I think we will just be talking about it, isn't it? Because we are very small players in the complete whole scenario. So somewhere where we can encourage our auditors also to come out with their, with their articles, it would be very nice, I would say. Yes, sir. Sir Ramnath Verma, sir, you have raised your hand. Why don't you unmute and talk to us?
Okay. ऐसे करेंगे mute.
Sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for a breathtaking presentation, so nicely covered and in a quick time, I should say, because it was just it's 75 to 80 minutes. You have given such a nice and covered so nicely. Must appreciate you for the depth of understanding. And only thing I have wanted to add, things are very changing dynamically in India.
Yes.
We are coming as one of the third largest economy in the world, above UK and Germany. Even Germany is supposed to be number 4 or number 5, whatever. So because the concepts and policies are changing very fast, Narendra Bhai Modi or our Prime Minister or the cabinet are doing a lot of hard work. Lot of investments in trillions and trillions of dollars are coming to India for this green projects like the solar power. 800 square kilometer of land has been taken in Gujarat, you might be knowing, for solar power,
Yes.
which are already going, and there are a lot of green projects going. So we hope sooner or later, whatever you have been discussing about food, with the United Arab Emirates, we have a tie-up for retail of food and consumer goods. You may be aware, na? So that way will be exporting food and healthcare to, and already we are distributed, na? So many vaccines and all. So India is going very fast. We fully appreciate what Sundar Kataria Sahab, or our friend, I am from Indian Oil, so he has been asking about. So it will come, sooner or later it will come. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So any more questions? Thank you, ma'am, for the
Yeah, one
present.
second, Bhagyalakshmi, just give me a second.
Yes.
Ma'am, I just fill in for sir. I think sir is having some network or connectivity issues. This was
Yes.
regarding your point, how do auditors put up in a forum? So the main thing, ma'am, is I believe that there are forums which already exist, and it's a question of exercising them. And I think we as assessors do not exercise our options. For example, there are various forums like the ACBI or the CB Association. So India at every accreditation body level has a association of certification bodies, association of inspection bodies. So in India, I think IRQS leads it. Shashiji, I think, leads the forum, and there are almost all CBs are signatories. That is where the auditors need to voice this. A lot of this is a personal take, and I'm not sure whether it's right or wrong, or it's a bold statement to make. I think auditors are too much in the rut of things, of just going by that same assessment, ki aaj bhi assessment, kal bhi assessment, and we keep going on and on and on and on, and becomes a part of our life. When we look at policy framework or policy change, ISO has a committee which is the TC for each standard, and they're open to voice, they're open to comment. Their addresses and emails are available on the IAF websites. Auditors, whoever raise concerns, go there. That's how the dynamic changes of every 4 years and 8 years, the entire cycle of standardization, the process changes, and that's where the inputs come from. So when we, as assessors, we are free to amend a clause or recommendation for amendment through our local ABCBs, because anytime a policy draft happens, it will come for approval, it will come for draft comment, the entire process is there. So whenever something is found by assessor, I believe they should write to forums or the technical committees behind, like TC 176 is available for the QMS. So the websites are available, the email ID is available. We should write to them or take it at our CB level or the AB level forums, which are available for us, which are readily available to all CBs. But
Sir,
I
this
think
was sir,
sorry.
this was not on that line that we already
Okay.
do it as CVs. You are
Correct.
supposed to
Correct.
do it, and you do it. No, this
Correct.
was on the front of the media itself, in the sense, making ourselves visible, because we all know that when it comes to the public knowledge, because we are not doing anything which is for the public, right?
Perfect.
Public doesn't
Perfect.
know anything about us, right? So that way I was talking about. In
No,
the
no,
sense, it is not the
I'm sorry.
ISO body.
I'm sorry. I went tangential then.
Yeah. So this was in the journals with the policy changes in our legislation itself.
Right,
Legislation, bringing it into newspapers or any of the technical magazines, what we have. If because
Correct.
wherever we see a manufacturing and other magazines, what we see, sir, it doesn't have anything from our end. That is our this what you say, management auditing kind of a end we don't have. So I think
yeah, I get you.
Yes.
But then truly, I'll tell you, QCI comes with a magazine every month, and
yes,
the articles are there. we have our own magazine that comes bi-monthly, and we struggle for articles. I'll be very honest with
Oh,
you.
is it so? Sorry, I'm so sorry. I did not know about it.
No, we have a magazine. It's called the Quality Mantra. We have the Quality Mantra, which is a
Okay.
bi-monthly edition.
Oh, I'm so
And-
sorry. I
And
would
love to have your articles, because
Yes,
the,
yes.
the editors for the Mantra actually struggle for
Oh,
articles.
no,
And the,
that will be a joy. Yes.
yeah. So it's for the forum. Every time anything is available, please put it to us, and it'll be amazing to
Yes,
illustrate your
yes.
articles. It gives you visibility. It gives
Yes.
the readers content. See, forums like ours, ma'am, are purely to increase awareness, go down,
Yes.
percolate within the
Yes.
industry. But this is our 101st episode, and we have very poor attendance in terms of, I
Yes.
believe that we're at about 50-60, but this is purely an initiative for public awareness, where people can come forward and gain mileage, and we appreciate each one who attends this, because it's a motive that keeps us going, ma'am.
Correct.
So that I wouldn't take too much time. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sumit, I would
But
like to comment.
amazing presentation. Amazing. It was superb. Really. All your sessions are a treat to the ears. Yes, Sharma ji was saying something.
Yeah,
Sharma.
I was saying something. Madam's concern, I think it's very. I think I appreciate that concern, and I have been personally concerned with all that. Now you said quality mantra, you said Satgun Sang, and I am also, I'm quite pained, at many things that happen around us. Quality mantra, I think 20 years back also quality mantra existed. Not even once as QCI actually applauded, ICS for bringing out or for spreading this kind of awareness. So this, apex body by itself is such a kind of toothless body, not at all concerned with things of public interest, the way Madam Smitha showed concern. I only wonder, when will we have some guy with transformational leadership qualities in that QCI, which is considered to be the apex body for quality, environment, safety, everything here. To what extent people like ICS and maybe Smitha Madam or a few people, a handful of people, create that kind of awareness and change in the policy makers. You understand that? No, I know quality mantra, Sumit rightly said. Not even once did somebody say, "Yeah, you are doing a wonderful job." Some apex body here and there, kar rahe hain, bas kar rahe hain, because these people are personally committed to it. That's all. But why don't people? This is the hallmark of leadership. Leaders spot something, and then these people, they appreciate things that are going on. This is transformation. So this is what is generally happening in the country, and even the best of companies. Let me tell you very honestly, this is my 20th year too in auditing and all. So now, ठीक है, paper service to the standard. By and large, it's paper service. I have a set of documents means I have a system. System means I have a set of documents. System does not mean here, that I have a set of commitments. I don't know what Anand Palji has to say. He also audits very frequently. System in India, even in the best of companies, means that I have a documented, SOPs, I have documented work instructions, I have some signage here and there, I have some management review meeting, and I have identified certain, aspects and impacts. ठीक है, हो गया. Generally, by and large, I am not talking of those extremely blue chip companies, I'm not talking of the airports. The airports are the best example today in environmental management. How many people benchmark their activities with the airports? Let me tell you. See, natural lighting, saving water, saving energy. One of the best examples today. All airports in the country. Kitni companies benchmark कर रही हैं? You don't even need to. I have not seen any company, sending people or just benchmarking on a secondary basis with what's going on in the disasters like Morbi and all, they keep happening here and there. Most of those companies, you will find them ISO certified. These companies which have done those jobs,
Yes.
on the slings and on the bridges and all, because that ISO 9001 is a prerequisite for getting a government tender.
Correct.
समझ गए ना? So this is what is going on, you know. So I appreciate what ICS is doing. I appreciate what people like you are doing. I appreciate my own sector, the nuclear sector. I appreciate the aviation sector, because
Yes.
nuclear and aviation, we learn from each other very frequently. And we keep on, you know, visiting each other and learning good practices of each other. That's the reason, you know, an airplane can fly with one engine and land safely today.
Yes.
But this bridge collapsed, all these links collapsed together. Can you imagine?
True, sir.
So
Very
anyway,
true.
all said and done, this was my, I mean, since it's an open forum now for the last 15, 20 minutes. But yes, let us appreciate what ICS is doing. ठीक है. Let us try to create, as they say, कि whatever is in our power, let's try to do that, you know, which we are doing, which even you are doing, and even, I mean, okay, now I think I end here. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the presentation and explaining the topic in a simplifying way.
Thank you very much. I think, yeah, we can leave the session.
No, ma'am. Can you please stop sharing?
Yes. Yeah.
Screen.
Yeah. Yes. So what are you trying to do?
So our next session is on 12th November 2022 on topic preventive management in the next generation healthcare, DNA. It shall be taken by Mr. Gauri Shankar Parida, and he shall be covering predisposed diseases, early predict to prevent. Future is a genetic based diet. Know your strength and weaknesses. ICS is pleased to provide you all the research and development, integrate management system, QMS, EMS, OSHAs, excellence in education management. ISO made it easy in Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, and Hindi. For reading any of the above books, please contact Ms. Sushma Kindlekar. Feedback form. Please register on www.sadgunsang.org and go in your login. Give feedback. On behalf of Sadgun Sang team, I would like to express my gratitude all esteemed delegates for the webinar and their presence and contribution to make this webinar a successful. We officially close the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhagya. Thank you,
Thank you.
ICS. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
It was a nice session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Bye-bye.